Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk with the Saw right here on Superlative Radio. That's where
Where
we're
else?
at, right?
That's where we're at.
That's where we're at.
That's where it's
I'm
all
just
at.
checking. We're still there, right?
That's where it's at. That's where it'll always be.
So today we're going to talk about Transformers Kingdom, which is the third part of the War for Cybertron trilogy that aired on Netflix. Of course, as same with Earthrise and Siege. Well, he didn't watch it.
I didn't watch
and
it.
I'm going to be honest, I really can't blame him.
There you go.
So the last episode I did...
Dodged a bullet on that one, guys.
The last episode I did, I talked about the Masters of the Universe Revelation show.
It wasn't good at all.
And I tore that one
Yeah.
apart.
But this one
Well,
was...
this one is even worse.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Like, I don't get it. Like,
What happened?
well, the same complaint I had with the two that came before it. The
Voicing.
acting is atrocious. It's terrible. And the sad part is they could have had decent voice actors. And in fact, they actually had Ron Perlman doing the voice of one of the characters, but it was still bad. It was terrible.
Uh-oh.
The whole freaking show is 6 episodes from beginning to end was a shit show.
Oh, man. Oh, well.
I just don't
You know
understand.
what? I'm sorry, because I know you enjoy that, and I know that's close to you.
It's
and
so frustrating. There is no bigger Transformers fan on the planet than me.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know there are people out there that'll say, "Oh, I'm bigger." No, trust me, you're not. I can guarantee it. You're not. I mean, you've seen my vehicle.
Oh, yeah. I know.
It's just, no, you're not.
He is. I can attest to it. He is.
It's so terrible when they screw it up. The ending was, there was no resolution to the story that they had been doing on Cybertron. Well, Optimus Prime and Megatron were off fighting to get the Allspark back or whatever, but like you just come to find out that, okay, well, E01 and Jetfire and everybody they left on Cybertron's all dead, which no explanation as to how. They're just dead. And, they introduced the Beast Wars characters in this, and they totally ruined Beast Wars Megatron. I mean, if any of you are fans of Beast Wars, you know that David Kay's Megatron from Beast Wars was a phenomenal character. It was well voiced. It was well acted. It was well written. This one was terrible. He was like this disgusting little lackey who wanted to please the regular Megatron. It was so out of character. I guess when you look at it, the only character that was decently done in the whole thing was probably Dinobot. And even that was still meh. It's sad when you have such a great franchise and they ruin it the way they did. And what boggles my mind is that Hasbro proved this. It's like, did you guys learn nothing from the last trilogy you did with Machinima? Everybody hated that too. It was garbage. The voice acting was terrible. And I mean, they even had Peter Cullen for the last 2 parts of it to do Optimus Prime, and it was still so badly written that even his amazing voice as Optimus couldn't save it. And Kingdom's no better. Just like Earthrise and Siege before it, it's just terrible.
Bottom
I just
line,
can't.
On 10.
Oh, -3. Like,
Oh, God.
It's like, it's not even on the chart.
You know what? That's...
It's terrible. I can't even say that the animation was worth it, because it was the same blocky animation that we had the last 2 times. The characters move in ways that just doesn't even seem natural for robots to move.
Jeez.
And that's saying something, considering most people think robots should move like...
Yeah, really, I know, yeah.
It's terrible. I don't know. I mean, I have nothing good to say about it. Nothing.
So save your time and don't watch it.
Like literally, just do not watch this. It's atrocious. It's terrible. Don't watch it. Just
Skip it.
skip it completely. If anything, send angry emails and letters to Hasbro to let them know that they need to stop ruining the Transformers and actually do something decent with them, because this is just atrocious. And
That's terrible.
the fact that they're not paying union voice actors and they're going cheap on the talent,
Dude, come on.
it doesn't matter. You know what? They have they have actors guilds and unions for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, seriously, put the money into it and make it good. I mean, the story could have been good if they had fleshed it out, but it was the same thing as the last two. It was. You remember how when I said like, because you watched the first episode of Siege or
That's
whatever,
right. Yes, I did.
First one or two.
Actually 3.
First 3, right? And you remember how I said your complaint was that you didn't understand what was going on.
That's right.
Because they didn't explain anything.
That's right.
And it's like that. It's like
It left me going, what am I watching?
Yeah, like it's like they left it with. Okay.
Did they do that again?
Well, they did it with all of them. And the I guess the thing is it's like. Let's take a 10-hour story, right? And let's chop it down so that it's 2 hours long. Well, when you do that, how much
chopping do you need to do?
Yeah. Exactly? How much of the story, it's like imagine if the story originally was a flat, calm ocean. But then all of a sudden the waters get really rough and choppy and it's like this.
Yeah.
And instead of, following all the waves, it just tips on the tops of them.
It doesn't give you any.
It's like it touches on the high points,
Yeah.
but it doesn't get into the meat of it, which is
It
below.
doesn't give you anything you need to help it. Yeah, exactly.
And
And
that's
leaves
what's
people like
wrong
me
with it.
going.
Like exactly. Like if you're not a Transformers fan, you would have
No idea what's going on.
idea
Yeah.
what's going on. And on top of that, if you had not watched the last two, you'd be even more lost. And the last two still don't really leave them at a point where this is explainable.
Yeah.
Like that's what gets me, is they could do so much more, but they don't.
See, that was the problem with me. I was watching it and I was like, I don't even know what the hell I'm watching here.
Yeah. And I mean, I shouldn't say that the animation really was bad. I mean, it was okay.
Is that the animation there?
Yeah, that's it.
That doesn't look.
I mean,
very...
like we can see it on the screen there.
Yeah,
but, like,
but
I mean, it's not bad, but it's just. It's
well, it's
like,
not.
It's like
I mean, looking at the monitor here doesn't tell me.
No.
And we have the monitor behind the camera, but it doesn't. And you guys can see it here, but it's.
At least the Masters of the Universe one, I could say the animation was good. You remember? Like, I could say it was really good.
Well, you said that then.
Mean, like, it's not that it's bad. It's that.
See, that's
like,
Optimus.
No, that's Starscream.
Oh, Starscream.
But as an example, I mean, you can see it's moving.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not bad. That's Optimus. But it's. See, the animation's not terrible, I guess. So.
Well, it's not.
But the voices are atrocious, and I'm not going to necessarily say it's the fault of the actors, because again, you can only act with what you're given.
Well, yeah, of course.
And the story is terrible. The story is just bad. And the direction is awful. Like it's like they were given the most horrid direction in the world, because the tone, the emphasis on words, everything just seems to be all in the wrong places. And the characters act nothing like they should. Like, when you I guess when you have a franchise of something, right? Like, you still expect characters, even if they're portrayed by different people, you still expect the core being of that character to be there.
Of course.
Right? Like let's take Star Trek for an example. Okay? You look at the original series and the original series movies, okay? And you go, okay, all right, cool. That's how Kirk is. That's how Spock is. That's how Bones is. That's how Scotty is, whatever. Then you go to the J.J. Abrams reboots, okay? There at least was still some element of the core characters in the rebooted versions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a fan of them, and I don't think they were well done, but at least you can still look and go, okay, all right, I can see that there's still some of that element of Spock in Zachary Quinto's Spock.
The essence of who
Right?
he was is what you mean.
Exactly.
Yes,
Like,
that's
it's
right.
still there. The
Yeah.
essence of who Bones is still
That's right.
there.
Exactly.
Like, you know, but like I've said before, this Optimus Prime is not sure of himself. He doubts himself. He doesn't act like Optimus. Optimus Prime, when you look at the original Optimus, he was brave and fearless and strong and a true leader. And then you look at this one and you compare it, and it's atrocious. It's like I said with the Beast Wars Megatron. Like the original one is cunning and sly and manipulative, and he's always like there's one scene with the very original one, the very original Beast Wars show. I believe it's in the very, very first episode of the show. The two ships, the Maximals and the Predacons, they crash on Earth, and when they finally meet up for the first time in their forms or whatever, they're standing there talking, and all of a sudden Cheetor shoots Megatron right in the face. Like, just right in the face, because he's in his dinosaur mode, and hits him in the face, and he looks and he goes, "Oh, a deceptive underhanded attack. Oh, I like you, pussycat." Like, and like it's just like all of a sudden, like, it's just, he has this way about him that it's like he's a great character. If you look up the original Beast Wars and you look up how Megatron was, he was amazing. And then you look at this one, and it's like he's like this whiny, teeny bopper fan crap. It's awful. I can't even describe how bad it is. Like, it's atrocious when I have nothing good to say.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
I can't even begin to.
You're looking for a saving grace or looking for something,
And
you
the
can't
saving
find
grace is what you're seeing right here, the animation. And that's the only piece of it that could even be construed as decent. And I wouldn't even say it's good. It's just, it's okay. It's still not great. Like, I can't, they spent all their money, I guess, on the license. like Netflix spent all the money on the license just to have it so they could air it. They didn't spend any on the talent. They didn't spend any on the creative. Nothing. There's just nothing good you can say about it. And I mean,
Oh, well.
I don't know. I mean, if you guys feel differently, if you've seen it and you feel differently, I would love to know what you liked about it, because I couldn't find a thing that I liked about it. Nothing.
Yeah, leave your comments below.
I was just absolutely appalled by everything I watched. And I sat and I suffered through the whole hour and a half. A little more than an hour and a half. I guess it was 6 episodes at 22 minutes each. What's that? I guess 2 hours.
Well, that's 2 hours you'll never get back.
Yeah, exactly. It's 2 hours of my life that's gone forever.
Yeah.
Okay? Just like the last 2-hour installments
Yeah.
they did. It's whatever happened to TV shows?
Oh, don't you get me started.
Whatever happened to TV shows being a full season where you could tell a story in a full season? You weren't limited to these 6 hour or 6 episode or 8 episode or 10 episode bullshit that we get to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do. Look, you're preaching to the choir here.
Like, as an example, I'll give you a good example. Star Trek Deep Space Nine, okay? Great show. And even as great as that show is, the last season, season 7, which was the final year of the war with the Dominion, even I thought in 25 or 26 episodes, whatever it was for that final season, I thought that was rushed. And they had 20-some episodes to tell the story. And I still felt it was rushed, especially the ending. The ending just came like, boom. They wrapped everything up in 2 hours, which made no sense. And it's the only thing about that show that I dislike.
Because they were on a time schedule.
Yeah. And it's like, since shows have started to go to this 10 to 13 episode standard for seasons, it's like we're losing so much story.
Of course we are.
And they're not getting to explain. Like, we got to watch 2 seasons to really get a full season that we should be entitled to.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Like...
I know.
And it's the same with this. Like, had this story been told over 20 episodes...
Well, you'd have time to delve in a little more, obviously.
They could have done something. They could have expanded on these characters. People would understand why they act the way they do, why they are the way... You know what I mean? But there's nothing. Like, some of the characters have been in the show since the very first episode of Siege. So they did 6 episodes of Siege, 6 of Earthrise, and 6 of Kingdom. Okay? Megatron, Optimus Prime are there in every one of those episodes. So that's 18 episodes that all of them are in. And those characters are no more developed at the end than they were at the start. They are the same flat, boring, undeveloped characters that they were when the show started.
Wow.
They didn't grow at all.
Wow. How
Not
insulting.
Even a bit. The only character in the whole series that grew any was Starscream. That's it. He was the only one who grew any little bit. None of the others did. And even his growth was terrible. It was still on a... I don't know what else to say. I really don't. I implore you, do not watch it. It's terrible. Don't subject yourself to it.
I've never seen him that speechless.
I am just...
That's got to be... It's got to be utter shit if he's, you know...
Yeah, it is. It's terrible. I just don't even know what... And in fact, it's so bad that they should be embarrassed to even have anybody who worked on it should be embarrassed to have their name attached to it.
Wow.
Like that. I would just... In fact, if I was a voice actor, I wouldn't even put it on my resume. Like, I'd be like... They'd be like, were you involved in this... No, man. No, someone else.
Yeah, wasn't me.
Just wasn't me. But your picture's on IMDb. No,
wasn't me.
Yeah.
But I saw you. Wasn't me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly just, like...
Is your name Shaggy? Wasn't me. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, it's so bad, like...
Yeah, well, there you go.
F.J. DeSanto is the guy who was the showrunner. You should be ashamed of yourself. Like, for you to have told people what this show was going to be, and then for you to have strayed so far from it, and not even done even remotely what you should have done, you should be embarrassed. In fact... I hope you get hit by a bus. That's how terrible. That's how bad. That way you can never, ever, ever, ever be responsible for anything this bad again. At least that, or better yet, just quit your job. Go work at Walmart.
Yeah, as a greeter.
Yeah, no, he fucked that up too.
Did he?
He would. Yeah, he fucked that up too. Right. I bet.
Never mind then. Don't go as a greeter.
Maybe.
Back room somewhere where you don't see.
Yeah,
anybody.
exactly. Yeah. I'm working in the back room where no one can see you.
That's right.
In Walmart. Because
killing flies or something.
Even then, you'll be overpaid for your talent, but whatever.
There's a lot of people that are like that anyway. So it's just
I got nothing good to say about this guy.
I guess not.
I watched an interview with him about the show when it was Siege, and it was just I was like, and then just watch the last 2 of these garbage things that he's turned out. No, you literally eat a bullet. Like that's how ashamed of yourself you should be. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Like, unbelievable. Just, yeah.
Well, I think that says it all.
Yeah, it really does. If you're still listening to me after all this, I thank you. But, really, I hope it's just enough of a warning that you realize you should never, ever, 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 ever.
One more.
Ever.
There you
ever.
go.
Ever.
Oh.
Ever. Really ever watch this show. It's that bad. It'll be 2 hours of your life. You'll be like, oh my God, I think all my brain cells died.
Yeah.
Like, just don't. Just don't even watch it. Just it's
I
terrible.
could have done something
I'm-
better, like watch the paint peel.
You know, when I was 8 years old playing with my Transformer toys, I told better stories.
There you go.
That's saying something. Because I had the mind of an 8-year-old. I mean,
Well, you still do.
yeah, I know, but you know,
Sorry, but so do I. So
I've seen Benjamin do better stories with 2 of the Transformers he owns, and you know what it was? It was one of them laying on the floor while the other one beat it to death. You know, that was a better story. I literally think I took a video of him going whack, 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 whack with his 2 Transformers, and then one go, eh. It was a better story. It was 6 seconds of my life that was better than this 2 hours of garbage. It's terrible. Like I just.
well, you go, guys.
Anyway, on the
that
plus
note,
side, I'm not gonna ruin you with any more of this. We will be back next week because next week is Marvel's What If.
finally.
Yeah, and I am telling you, I cannot wait for that. That
And
is gonna
he
be
messaged
amazing.
me this week about the Spider-Man movie.
Oh yeah, it was
and he
the
was-
fan trailer.
Oh my God!
It was a fan trailer.
He was pumped.
Yeah, the fact that somebody threw all that together as a fan trailer, and we're still waiting for the official one. But I mean, like the fact that we know Andrew Garfield's going to be in it. We know Tobey
Yeah.
Maguire's going to be in it.
Yeah.
We know Willem Dafoe's going to be in it. We know what's his face who played Doc Ock is going to be in it. We know that Jamie Foxx is going to be in it. We know that Daredevil's going to be in it. We know Doctor Strange is going to be like. It's mind blowing that we know all this stuff. We haven't seen a trailer, and this guy put a trailer together that literally my mind was like,
Yeah.
it like exploded all over the room. Like it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And if it's even half as good as the trailer he did, I'm just gonna be like, wow. I mean, I can't wait for that movie.
Yeah. It did look
It's-
good.
Yeah, it's just gonna be mind boggling. But anyway, we will be talking about What If next week, so
Yep.
please stay tuned for that. I hope you really enjoy it because I'm looking forward to it.
Sounds like it's going to be good. So I think it'll.
And a lot of the voice actors from the MCU are actually back reprising their roles as their characters. We'll get to hear Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa because he recorded all
He
his
did it
lines
before he
before he
passed,
died. So we will get to see. I think the only ones that aren't reprising their roles are, I believe, Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. I could be wrong about Chris Evans. I know Robert Downey Jr. is not doing Iron Man's voice, which is unfortunately is very
disappointing.
disappointing for me. But yeah, I know Chris Hemsworth is Thor because in one of the previews you hear his voice. So a lot of them come back, which is really good.
Well, we'll
Anyway,
talk about it next week.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next week. So we'll catch you guys for another episode of Let's Talk the Saw right here on Superlative Radio. Don't forget to check out our other channels, our website, and so much more. We've got lots of content.
Yeah.
We do a ton of videos, so we've got lots of stuff. And until then.
Stay healthy.